Welcome back to another episode of the Sober Curator podcast. My name is Alysse Bryson, and I am your host today. And I am being sidekicked by our very fabulous senior Sober Curator travel contributor, Teresa. Teresa, it's so good to have you here today.
Hey there. Thanks for letting me be on the podcast today, Alysse.
I know I finally caught you at home. You seem to always be going somewhere.
The life of a travel writer.
That's right. That's right. Well, I am very excited to talk travel today. If anyone wants to go on a trip, my bags are packed. Just let me know when we're leaving because I'm always ready to go on a trip. And today I'm very excited that we're going to be talking to the founder of Sober Travel Retreats and everything that she has going on and is available to you if you're looking to have some sober adventures in 2025 or even starting to make plans for 2026. So welcome to the show, Philippa. We're so glad that you're here.
Thank you, Alysse. I'm happy to be here with you and to tell you a little bit about our sober travel retreats.
And so let's start with the fact that we're talking to you and you're on another side of the planet. So where are you located now and how long have you been offering your sober travel retreat?
All right. Thanks, Alysse. So I am in Antigua, Guatemala, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and was National Geographic's #1 destination for 2025. Guatemala isn't necessarily on everybody's radar, but I do want to point that out. And I've been living here since 1992, so a long time, had my kids here, and a whole lifetime of working in the travel industry. And about a year ago, I started working on this idea of combining my passion for travel and having had a top 10 travel agency here in Guatemala, combining that with my other passion, which is sobriety in whichever form it comes. So what we've been working on for the last year are organizing 3 types of retreats. One, a general one for anybody in recovery, and a second one, which is for the LGBTQ crowd that are having quite a hard time at the moment. And then the third one is for family members struggling with loved ones, or in some cases not so loved ones, that are struggling with this disease of addiction, as I tend to think of it, or have newly sober people in their family and aren't quite ready to let go of the fact that they might relapse. So we're offering these 8-day, I would call them more journeys than retreats. A lot of sightseeing, a lot of behind the scenes sightseeing, and then a little bit of personal work thrown in there as well as hopefully a lot of laughter. And these are starting in October.
October, you've got one going every month through the end of 2025, and you also have some of these retreats planned in 2026, correct?
Correct, Alysse. Yes, we've also set dates for May and June, and then also for it'll be December, October, November, and December of 2026. So
fantastic.
We're
What's the size?
Excited. Yeah.
What's the typical size of the group, or how many people can you have before you're at capacity, I guess?
Sure. Okay. So the minimum we run the group with is 6, and we could take more than 22, but I think 22 is optimal. So that it's still personalized, and we bring on another retreat leader if the group is over 15. And for these ones, we're bringing down Al Updike, who is a Mexican-American working at Hazelden Betty Ford, has been there for a long time and is coming down to Guatemala and is super excited about these trips. Him and his partner, James, are coming down. So... and then I will back up the retreats if we have over a size of 15.
So I want to back up just a little bit. What made you relocate to Guatemala back in 1992?
Oh, so good question. I just left university. I'd done a course in London. I really didn't want to go back and join the rat race in London. Had no idea what I wanted to do in life, and yet there was this family work ethic of if you got to get a job, you've got to get a job. So I decided to go off with this interesting boyfriend that I had at the time. And we went off on a 6-month travel trip from Mexico all the way down to Panama. And short story is that I split up with this boyfriend that wasn't great for me. And I came back to Antigua. So it was still during the war years. There was a 36-year civil war here. And went to a cheap backpacking hotel. And there were 3 floors on the top of the roof. And I was in one, and this Canadian girl, Mandy, was in another, and another guy called Ted in another. And he had come down with 1,000 books in a van to set up a secondhand bookstore. And on one drunken night, let's just put it at that, I raised my hand and I said, "I'll be your new partner." And so the 3 of us decided to, and that was my escape route out of the rat race. So went back to London, sold all my stuff, and then went and met him in Philadelphia. And we bought another van and another 1,000 secondhand books and drove down in a week from Philadelphia down to Guatemala and lived in the van. And we had a mattress on top of the used books, and eventually found a location, lived in the van with a dripping roof as well in the rainy season. It was pretty uncomfortable. But anyway, we found a location and started a secondhand bookstore. And then that grew into like a cafe, and we had loads of live music and a big fire pit, and attracted a lot of musicians. And then that led into having a restaurant, and then eventually a travel agency. And 20 years later, I was still there doing the same thing. So that was my little escape from the rat race in London.
Geez, my drunken decisions were never that good. I'm really impressed.
No, you're a way better drunk than we were. Way better drunk.
I was a functioning drunk. I was really private about it. And people would always say to me, "Oh, you look so tired." And I'd be, yes, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But in fact, nobody really knew what was going on behind the scenes. I was in extreme pain, and the outside did not match my inside. But somehow that work ethic of work got me through some actually quite fun times. Until then, it all collapsed. But yep. So I would say functioning, but emotionally really not functioning at all.
How long have you been sober?
So I started my journey 25 years ago. It took me 5 years to wasn't decide, but to really understand what my problem was. Mm-hmm. And in and out. I could quit, but I couldn't stay quit. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand. I didn't understand why. And eventually I got sent off to a treatment center in the States, and that started off my journey, where I think just understanding what my problem was the first thing. And it was like, okay, so it's not really my fault. But now that I know what my problem is, it is my responsibility to move forward with a happier life, a functioning life, a contributing life. Mm-hmm. And that was almost 20 years ago now.
So I'm class of 2006, I like to say.
Yep,
I got my sober day. Oh yeah, that's a great year to get sober. It's a classic year for sure. I just like to say class of 2006 because I'm a college dropout. So I didn't actually graduate from anything after high school. I feel like graduating off the streets should count for something.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't actually finish my university degree. I kind of got it, but I dropped out a year early as well. Just couldn't cope. So we've got that in common as well. Yeah.
What's the sober scene like in Guatemala? Like, how prevalent is it in the culture? How central is it to gatherings, and how is it being a sober person there?
Oh, wow. Okay. I have to say, as in many places, alcohol is very prevalent. 50% of the population here in Guatemala are Mayan, and with many indigenous cultures, there seems to be more alcoholism. So there is, and there's very little available in terms of treatment that isn't hugely religious or very punishing. So what we want to do with our proceeds of these retreats is to build up a sober fund to help locals that would never be able to afford it, A, get sober, and B, stay sober. So part of the money, the proceeds of these trips are for helping the locals. So I personally didn't know anybody that didn't drink when I first got sober. Nobody. And I found it quite lonely and very difficult to stay sober until I found my tribe. Yeah, it's not something that I could personally do. I tried really hard to do this on my own and failed miserably. And I'm actually really happy today to have found my tribe and to be part of a community, sober community.
Yeah, it is super lonely trying to do things on your own.
Very, very lonely. And that's part of these retreats as well, is I think after COVID and with the political scene, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention that or not, but there's a lot of division right now. And, a lot of division. And we really want to bring people together and connecting. I think that connection is key to having a happy and productive life. And so we want people to return just really at peace again and feeling that they can contribute and feeling grateful to be able to go home feeling really fulfilled.
What is one of your favorite parts of the experience? And I know that you offer a few different types of experience, so the answer may fluctuate a little bit, but you do a lot of activities. You mentioned there was a lot of activities. Is there one or two activities that those are the ones that you look forward to the most, or you've seen that the people that come, that's where they end up having their breakthrough or big experience or moment of clarity?
In the morning we have circles, so those can be really powerful. But it's not. Somebody mentioned like a therapeutic trip. It's not so much a therapeutic trip. It's just more circles, discovering 12-step principles. Whether you're into the 12 steps or not into the 12 steps, the principles are worldwide. Peace, humility, trust, etc. Mixed with Mayan wisdom. So people find that really, really just interesting because the two go really hand in hand. And then there's a day that I really, really love where we have to get up a little early and we head up to Lake Atitlan, which is the most beautiful lake surrounded by volcanoes and mountains and very Mayan indigenous. And on our way, we stop off at a Mayan ruin called Iximshir. And we have a bit of a tour around there. And then a Mayan shaman works with us to build or to do a Mayan fire ceremony for our group. And I think that's a really special moment of reflection, something really different that you're not going to see in the States or Europe. Really, these Mayan fire ceremonies are really, really special. And that, for me, I think is one of the most beautiful parts of our trip, with the background of the Mayan ruins.
That sounds really cool. What would you say a typical day is like? I mean, I realize they're all different, but with sort of the combination of the sightseeing and then the more spiritual or sober focused elements.
Yeah.
How do you work those two together?
Sure. So people get up. We have 15 rooms in the villa, and before breakfast, there'll be some gentle stretching. I don't want to call it yoga because it's not full of yogis. We've got all types. So just calling it gentle stretching could involve a little bit of easy yoga, followed by breakfast. And then we'll have this circle where we'll ask everybody what their main interest is and what they're working on. And then lunch, which might be a packed lunch, and we will head out for a visit in the afternoon. What we really try to do is get our clients behind the scenes. So we have a bunk bed project where we go in and install a bunk bed for a local Mayan family. And it's not the wealthy gringos coming in to help the poor Mayans. This is a joint effort. So the family members and our clients or guests will set up this bunk bed for a Mayan family, and they'll do it together, joint venture for the kids, because most of the kids are sleeping on the floor, on dirt floors, again with leaky roofs. So we'll do that, or we'll go off and see an eco bike project where instead, a lot of people live here without electricity. So these are containers of old bikes that are sent down both from the States and Canada that nobody wants. And they make machines out of them. So they'll make coffee grinders, and it's all about pedal power. So it's all about pedaling to create the energy. So they'll make coffee grinders. They even have a washing machine where you put your clothes in this very simple barrel and then pedal and have your clothes washed that way. Or pumps to pump water out of the ground. We take water for granted, but actually here, people might be walking kilometers and kilometers with water on their head to get home. So to have a pedal-powered water pump is like a big deal. And then, of course, they're easy to repair. So that's quite fun. We also go and see Mashimon, a Mayan mystic god, hard to explain, but where you can pray for bad things, well, good things and bad things. But that's totally funky and really off the beaten track for tourists here. So there's just loads of trips. On our website, we've actually got everything detailed down as well as to what trips are included, and a lot of trips are included on this trip. So you were asking me about the day. I went off track there. So the trip, and then we'll generally either we'll eat at home and we have a chef that comes in and cooks for us, or we'll go out. We've checked out so many restaurants and found the best places with the best mocktails and great food, or listen to some live music. There's really nothing somber about these trips. It's about also having fun and just feeling renewed at the end of it.
Well, the pictures look fabulous and very vibrant and very Instagrammable. Mm-hmm. I have to ask, how is the shopping?
The shopping. We're actually just 2 blocks from the main market. So there are textiles, there's jewelry, there's all sorts of beautiful if on the very, very cheap. You can bargain for them, but I'm quite frankly, I'm like, look, if you're paying a little bit extra for these items and leaving a little bit extra, it really doesn't hurt your
Sure.
purse at all. Just pay a bit more. And then there's the whole fancy shopping area as well. With jade is big here in Guatemala. Beautiful jade jewelry and bags. Beautiful huipiles, which are the Mayan woven clothing that they make here and that the Mayans wear. Loads and loads of shopping if that's what you're into.
What do you suggest that people pack? I need to know these things as an overpacker. I tend to pack too much.
Maybe you'll come and join us on one of these trips. We'd love to have you. So I would say we've actually got a packing list that we send out to our guests, but minimal. We've got a washing machine, dryer as well. So just a few shirts, a few trousers. For me personally, having got here in 92, I prefer to respect the local culture and to have my shoulders covered, not to be wearing kind of shorts where your bum's sticking out. You do see that, but I just prefer that we're all a little respectful of the local culture. And then maybe something a little smarter for the evening, a pair of walking shoes, your meds, a diary, a raincoat, or just something a little warmer for the evenings. But we do send you out the full packing list for this trip.
Teresa, have you been there?
Not yet. It looks really beautiful. I was going to ask you, Philippa, what's what is it about Antigua that makes it a UNESCO site?
Okay, so it's a Spanish colonial town that was built in the 16th century. So it's cobbled street. If you can imagine cobbled streets and loads of old churches. And because there was a huge earthquake in 1976, a lot of the churches actually partially collapsed. So there's a lot of them are ruins that are being rebuilt. It's a town that wherever you look up, you see a volcano. They've really preserved it so that you can only paint your building one of 4 colors. The signs can't be sticking out. You can't have billboards everywhere. It's just really, really quaint. It's about 10 blocks by 10 blocks, and just so authentic, and a beautiful central square where the Mayans hang out selling their goods with a basket on their heads, and just different. If you want a bit of a culture shock but still feel safe, this place is just beautiful, absolutely stunning.
It sounds gorgeous. Do you know what the 4 colors are that are in the square, that are in that section?
Yeah. So there's sort of a mustardy yellow, which is a little bit like the back of what you see here. And then a red, let's see, a little bit like a red like this here. A pale blue, a little bit like your background there, Teresa. And so we've got red, and then more of a cream color as well. So it's very standardized. So it's really beautiful, really, really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to visit. It sounds like a great retreat you're running.
Yeah.
Teresa,
Well, I mean,
maybe
if you guys
you
are
and I need to figure
available,
that out. Yeah, maybe we need to figure that out.
That would be rad.
How long does it take to get to Guatemala if someone was traveling from the States?
Yep. Okay, so direct flights from, let's see if I've got my travel agent memory. New York, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Fort Lauderdale,
Probably
Los
Dallas and
Angeles. What's that?
Probably Dallas and LA.
Dallas, LA. I think that's about it. So wherever you're traveling to, it's either going to be a direct flight or maybe one hop to get to the hub and then straight down. So I've got some people coming down in October from Florida. For them, it's a 2-hour journey. I think with luggage, it's actually costing $400 at the moment round trip, which is a really great deal.
That's a really good deal.
What are the accommodations like?
So we've got 14 rooms that each have their ensuite bathroom, and so that each are priced differently. So a couple of the rooms have these gorgeous balconies where I'm sitting right now with a view over volcano Agua, which is incredible. And then some face out onto the courtyard. We've got a pool with a hot tub. So that's another little special. So at night, it's really fun to get back or after a meal to go and have a hot tub. And they're all decorated. So the villa is decorated. Everyone comes in and goes, gosh, how many hundreds of years old is this place? And we actually built it in 2010.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's a lot of exposed stonework. There's a lot of bricks. There's a lot of wrought iron. So it's a lot of wood, as you can see behind me. So just very, very different, I think, to what you'd find in the States, for sure.
What is the climate like? What are the seasons like, or the highs and lows of the temperatures?
So the temperature's pretty stable all year round. We've got a dry season and a rainy season. The temperatures during the day, 70s, early 80s. So a nice temperature, not too hot. We're about 1,600 meters high. So that means that it's fairly high up and dry. So there's not a lot of humidity where we are. And a really comfortable temperature. And in the evenings, like I said, you need to bring a little extra jumper sometimes just to put that on, just to feel warm enough. So very, very comfortable.
And what is you mentioned that there's a great restaurant scene and mocktail scene. What other forms of entertainment can people expect to have the opportunity to experience? Music, dancing?
So we don't expect all our people to be in AA, even though these are 12-step, we'd call the circles 12-step principle circles with Mayan wisdom thrown in. We don't expect all our people to be in 12-step recovery. Sobriety can take lots of different forms. So if you are interested in 12-step meetings, there are a couple of 12-step meetings in town in English. And if you're really daring, there's a few in Spanish that you might want to attend. Quite a big live music scene as well, which is fun. A lot of musicians that we used to play at our restaurant cafe, the Rainbow Cafe in Antigua, that have great Latino music, really fun music. What else? Shopping, the shopping scene, some hikes from here as well, a cocoa making experience. Oh, with cooking class as well, which is to learn to make some Guatemalan food, and then we all eat it together. That's on our last night.
Fun.
Is there any swimming or kayaking?
Not where we are, but if you are, when we go to Lake Atitlan, there's some swimming and kayaking you could do there. So the only swimming we've got here is our swimming pool, but not right in Antigua.
Teresa's a fish. That's why she was asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Alysse knows I always go swimming, kayaking, visiting cemeteries, taking a ghost tour, and going to a cat cafe. Is that like what's in every? Why, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got it dialed in. Do you have
So,
cats
but
there? That's the next question.
No cats, Teresa. I'm sorry, no cats. But what the other thing I wanted to say is, okay, no kayaking or here in Antigua, but also about an hour and 2 hours away is our Pacific coast. And there's a lot of surfing that goes on there for surf enthusiasts. So I'd really encourage people, you can either come down on the day the retreat starts and leave on the day that the retreat finishes, or extend it a little bit and go down to the beach if you're into surfing, or if you're really into Mayan ruins. There's a 2-day trip that you can do up to Tikal, which is the largest Mayan site in the whole of the Americas, with these incredible pyramids coming out of the jungle. And so there's so much you can do in a small country, or combine it with going down to Costa Rica or going to Belize to dive there or snorkel. I mean, there's so much around here. But it's a very little known country. So we were all super thrilled when, again, National Geographic made it their #1 destination in the world for 2025.
That's very exciting. That's quite a big feat for sure.
It is. It's a huge deal. Yeah.
Well, as we start to wind down here, we're so excited that you shared your experience with us and all the different options that people can check out for 2025 and 2026. We're going to put your website and your Facebook into the show notes. But for those of you listening, it is sobertravelretreats.org. And is there anything else that you think our readers and listeners need to know?
Yes, thank you, Alysse. I just wanted to plug the fact that we've got our launch trips coming up in November and December. So the November one is an LGBTQ trip, and the December one is for family members. And we are opening the last few remaining spots to people that might not normally be able to afford these trips, and making it a pay what you can trip. So do get in touch with me if you're interested. There may still be a spot available. Do get in touch with me, and I'm willing to consider any offer just to invite you down here and to have you join us. And failing that, if you can't make it in months that are coming up soon, we've got trips coming up in May and June, and then October, November and December of 2026. So do book your space, and don't let the price put you off. I'm willing to work with you with payments and, your budget as well. So don't let the price put you off.
Well, that's incredible. And we will have all of your experiences listed on the Sober Retreats calendar that Teresa heads up. It's been doing very well. It's been getting quite a bit of traffic this year. It's really become kind of the calendar to watch for all of those sober adventurers out there.
Yeah. And I also just want to say thank you to you guys, because your website and all your resources are absolutely incredible. And I can only imagine it takes a lot of work and determination and everything to keep that website going and growing. So thank you as well for all you guys do for the sober community.
Oh, absolutely. I love to know. I love meeting people that are living in different places around the world that are also, beating the sober drum. And you're right. You touched on it earlier, but community and connection. We all need each other. We can't do any of this alone. I mean, we can maybe, but it's very sad and depressing, and not really an ideal, thriving lifestyle. So I'm just so happy to see that there's so many opportunities for people to go and experience a really fun time and remember it.
I know, what a miracle. What a miracle. Yes, I mean, quite frankly, if one's just going to get sober and be miserable, I always say to people, go out and get drunk again, because
just keep drinking.
This journey is about.
Exactly.
Keep drinking, because this is about really rediscovering the joy that I didn't even know existed. I had absolutely no idea that I had so much laughter inside of me, that I could really start to numb, that I could really start to enjoy life and take responsibility for my part in things as well. And I love this journey. It's not always easy, but just doing it with other people, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. Yeah.
Well, I love that you shared your Eat, Pray, Love story with us, and I am here for it.